Hello, it's me. This clip of Adele has been going crazy because people don't understand her accent and what she's saying.
The thing is, I was in her dressing room and I was like, there was only a little curtain separating us while she's having her makeup done, and I started like going, I don't think I can do this, I don't think I can do this, and she would have heard it all. And then she popped out, so I put on a brave face, but the second time I went out on a balcony and got on my hands and knees and cried.
So in today's class, I'm gonna show you how to understand everything she says, but also how you can do an Adele accent. Adele. Adele. What? Can we have a quick interview? Yeah, right. Which accent does Adele have? Basically Cockney. That's the short answer. The long answer is boring and you don't care anyway. Cockney. So we need to learn the sounds of the Cockney accent. First, the T sound. Get rid of it. Put it in the bin. We don't need it. Instead, say uh-oh. See, in the middle of uh-oh, where your throat closes, stops the airflow, stops the sound coming out. That's a glottal stop. Change every T except for words which begin with T to that sound. For example, hot becomes hot. Hotter becomes hotter. Make sure you practice with me all of these sounds in this video. For example, this one, make sure you're not saying ha-ha. No, that airflow needs to stop. That's what makes that glottal T sound. Ha-ha, not ha-ha. No. Fit becomes fit. You're fit, love. Don't becomes don't. Curtain. Curtain. Little. Little. You get the idea? Cool.
You broke up with your ex.
Yeah.
Do you have a message for his new lover?
I don't know. You know, give my love to her, treat her better. It's hot today, isn't it? Okay, again, if a word begins with a T sound, like the word together, you don't make that T glottal, like together. No, no, just don't. Together. Now let's take that word together to illustrate the next point, because we also change the th sounds, the TH sounds. And there are two types of th sounds, voiced and unvoiced. Put your hand to your throat here and feel how you say the th sound in words like thanks, think, through. On the th sound, there's no vibration, right? And that is called an unvoiced th sound because there's no th vibration. So if words like this, that, these, those produce a vibration on the th sound, that's called a voiced th sound. So the unvoiced th sounds, throw them in the bin. We're gonna use th sounds like this. Think. Think. Say it with me, it's important to practice. Thanks. Thanks. Bath. Bath. And voiced th sounds, we change them to th sounds. Together becomes together. Together, together. Brother. Brother. Another. Another. And with. If a word begins with a voiced th, you don't change that. So words like this, that, these, those, you don't change them to th sounds. So this, that, these, those, no. Next, L sounds. Throw them in the bin. We don't pronounce it L, we pronounce it L. Watch the mouth shape, watch my lips, watch all the stuff going on here. Words like little. Look where my tongue is. Little. We're gonna change that to little. Little. Remember your glottal T. Practice these next words with me. All. All. While. While. Balcony. Balcony. And again, if a word begins with an L, don't change that. So, like, you don't change it to wike. The same if that L is in between two vowel sounds, like really, those are vowel sounds. That's the L. Don't change that L to an L. So, really, no one says that. Next, the H's, also in the bin. Bloody hell. No. Bloody hell. Say it with me. Nice. All right, a full sentence now. I was having dinner with her. I was having dinner with her. So we dropped the H, we changed the to a and it's also very common to change ing endings to in. Having, having.
How about Queen Bee? Do you guys get on?
What, Beyonce? Yeah, we work together a lot actually. Another reason I love her is that she just turns up out of the blue uninvited. Yeah. And finally, in a Cockney accent, you can change my to me. You don't have to, it's an option. So, let's put everything together. Let's put everything together. You say it. Nice. How would you say my throat hurts in a Cockney accent? My throat hurts.
How do you write a song?
How do I write? So I get all my ideas, put everything together into a song, and then there's no worries or cares, you know, regrets and mistakes, they're just memories made.
Are you okay?
I'm alright, my throat just hurts. We also have some expressions which, if English isn't your first language, you might not know. So,
Got to meet Beyonce a couple of times, which the first time I really held it together.
to hold it together means to be calm and not panic. Keep your composure. If you're like me and if you see blood, you might be like, ugh. So if I ever see blood, I have to tell myself, hold it together, Ali. Don't faint.
I was like, thanks for having me to show, B.
I was like, he was like, she was like. I said, he asked me, she told him. Or when you're talking about a conversation and you want to show the gesture that you used, maybe with your hands. For example, I met this girl yesterday and she was like, hi. And I was like, hey.
I was like, thanks for having me to show, B, you know, rare, rare, rare.
All right, rare, rare, rare is the same as blah, blah, blah. You said words, but maybe they're boring or not important. So you replace a long conversation, a long dialogue with just blah, blah, blah. Or in Adele's case, rare, rare, rare. And this part.
The thing is, I was in her dressing room and I was like, there was only a little curtain separating us.
I was like, she has, so there was. She started the sentence 3 different ways. I mean, we all do this. I know I'm not articulate all the time. You can ignore that part. So finally, to bring this all together to sound natural with a British accent, you really need connected speech. This is not just a Cockney thing, this is a British accent thing. I made detailed videos about it here, but for this lesson, let's concentrate on this one thing, and it's very important. In British English, when a word ends in a sound, like better, doctor, actor, we don't pronounce the we pronounce it like a schwa. Say it with me. It's a really lazy sound. Better, doctor, actor. Again, that's called a schwa. Video here. However, when the next word starts with a vowel sound, then we pronounce the sound. For example, better, actor, separately, that's fine. But put them together, better actor. We need to link those two words with that R sound.
You have to choose Robert Downey Jr. or Paul Rudd.
Wow, all right, so I think RDJ is a better actor than him, but I mean, he just doesn't age, does he? Do you know what I mean? Video explaining all about connected speech right there. All right, put this all together for the final test. This sentence, how would you say it in Adele's accent? Make her proud. You know everything you need to change. Sounds. Drop the H's. T's, change them for glottal stops. L's, change them for L's. Take your time, plan how you're gonna say this, then say it, and then check your pronunciation with me and we'll say it together.
Final thoughts on Beyonce?
I mean, I just think she's well pretty. You know, I just want to put her in a little bottle. Yeah. I saw her last November actually in a Tesco. She's with her auntie and she's buying Weetabix. And I was like, oh my God, you buy Weetabix too? You're such a legend. I mean, Beyonce in a bowl of Weetabix. Can you imagine?
Nice, well done.
Got to meet Beyonce a couple of times, which the first time I really held it together. I was like, thanks for having me to show B, you know, rare. But the thing is, I was in her dressing room and I was like, there was only a little curtain separating us while she was having her makeup done, and I started like going, I don't think I can do this, and she would have heard it all. And then she popped out, so I put on a brave face. But the second time I went out on a balcony and got my hands and knees and cried.
Did she?
Yeah.
Bowing at the altar
I've been listening to her since I was like 9, man. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible.
All right, so if you want to really improve your British accent, I've made an entire course. It's free, it's on YouTube, and there's a free ebook to go with it. With this course, you'll understand why we all sound weird and how you can make your own natural sounding British accent. Really good if you're an actor, but if English is your second language, it's also helpful to improve your listening and pronunciation. Or if you just want to continue your journey for the Cockney accent, click this video. And I'll see you in the next class.